Comix Zone. Over the last 18 years, this game has become a cherished Genesis title. It was released in August of '95. In North America, Saturn was already on store shelves. The Sega CD and 32X were on their way out, and Game Gear was about to be eclipsed by the Sega Nomad. While Sega focused their efforts on Saturn, Genesis got a few more stellar titles, one of which was Comix Zone. Comix Zone is a side-scrolling, arcade-style beat-em-up, much like Streets of Rage, except the action is contained on a single plane, and you rarely, if ever, take on as many foes within a single screen. You play as Sketch Turner, a down-and-out comic book writer/illustrator in New York, busting his ass on a brand spanking new comic. During a thunderstorm, lightning strikes the comic book and brings the main villain, Mortis, to life. Mortis wants to become, well, mortal, but he must first banish his creator to the Comix Zone, drawing one vile creation after another. Once Sketch dies, Mortis will be made flesh and take over the world. Cue evil laughter. You get one attack button, jump, and item. If you're rocking a 6-button controller, XYZ will be automatically assigned to a specific item. This is ideal. Sketch can perform a bunch of special moves, many of which you'll need in order to bring down certain enemies. While you can button mash your way through, patience and skill is rewarded, not only in dealing with enemies, but clearing obstacles. Why is that important? Get this, whenever you bash an oil drum into scraps of metal or reduce a wooden crate to splinters, it takes some of Sketch's health. Seriously, punching and kicking things into oblivion works well enough, but jamming it with your shoulder is quicker and won't take as much life. Work smarter, not harder. Which brings us to the puzzle element. In many instances, you'll move on to the next panel after you've beaten all the on-screen creepers. In others, Sketch has to solve puzzles, like linking power conduits or pushing crates closer to a wall in order to reach a lever, or even using his pet rat, Roadkill, to crawl through narrow spots. These sequences are welcome and help break up the monotony of ass-kicking. It helps too that you don't have to take the exact same route each and every time you play. Keeps the gameplay fresh, I feel. Before I dive any deeper into the gameplay, I gotta talk about the presentation. Comix Zone is a beautiful fucking game, both visually and aurally, from the bold colors to the fluid animation. Mind you, by this point I had already seen some impressive graphics on Genesis, like Virtua Racing, with its stunning use of 3D. The Lost World boasted a fast-paced pseudo-3D first-person driving stage that was technically impressive for the time. Even Sonic 3D Blast had some pretty bonus stages, not to mention FMV. Holy fuck. That being said, Comix Zone still managed to impress. Explosions and water effects are dazzling, and kicking an enemy through several panels is bitchin'. Yeah, I said bitchin'. Sound-wise, the music is great. It's a tad dated now, but time has added to its charm. Voice samples are some of the best I've heard on Genesis. I don't feel as if I have to squint with my ears trying to figure out what the hell these characters are saying.
Test 1, 2.
Sega Technical Institute and Howard Rawson really outdid themselves here. All those positives aside, there are some flaws. One, the difficulty. There's no easy settings, so you're forced to deal with some wickedly smart aliens, mutations, ninjas, bats, and whatever the fuck that is. To top it all off, no lives. When you die, it's back at the beginning. Adding insult to injury, there's no continues either. Not right away, at least. Once you've beaten the first level, each level consisting of 2 or 3 stages, you will earn a continue. I'm not entirely sure whether or not you can earn any more, since I've yet to beat this bitch. Like I've mentioned, clearing obstacles will drain your health, making this little adventure all the more perilous. One complaint I've heard is that Comix Zone is way too short. You know, I'm sure that's true once you've beaten it, but that can be said of any game. The first time I played Resident Evil, it took me 15 hours to complete. Nowadays, I can do it in less than 3. Is that too short? If this were an RPG, maybe I'd throw a fit or two, but it's a side-scrolling brawler. What do you expect? Comix Zone may be harder than John Holmes on Viagra, but it's great fun to play with, and I can do it over and over again. Whoa, phrasing. Okay, it's really fucking difficult, yes, no question, though it's not unbeatable or wholly unfair, it just requires patience is all. It's an entertaining beat-em-up that stands out to this day, and it's certainly a must-own for any Genesis fan.
I don't believe what I just saw. Not only did you let those suckers get Lisa, but you forgot to subscribe to SegaBits.com. I'm pulling the plug on you before you do any more damage.